This video will give you an overview of NVivo for Windows and how it can support qualitative analysis. I will then go through the structure of the NVivo workspace and cover a bit about the vocabulary used. But first, I want to briefly describe the two editions of NVivo, Professional and Plus. Professional is for those of you who are working with textual data, Microsoft Word documents and PDF files, audio, videos, survey, and social media. It has all the tools you need for reflecting and coding your data, as well as queries and visualizations for you to explore and view your data. Plus is for those of you who have a large amount of data and want to take advantage of automatic coding by theme and sentiment analysis. It also has tools to support social network analysis. This course will be using the Professional or Pro version. To check what edition you are working in, go to the File tab and choose Options. So what is NVivo? I like to think of it as an electronic project or e-project. NVivo supports Word documents, text files, PDFs, images, video and audio files, surveys, bibliographic and demographic data, websites and social media. So it's a place you can store all of your data, even for a very complicated study, all together in one place. But it's not just a place to gather your materials, it's also a place where you can start to reflect on your ideas. You can keep your research journal in NVivo and even start writing your findings in NVivo. What is especially powerful is that you can write up your ideas in a series of what we call key issue memos, which you can then export out of NVivo and finish up your report or dissertation in Word. And then you can bring the finished report back into NVivo so that your NVivo project becomes an archive of that particular study, which you continue to mine, to write further articles, or to add more data if it is a longitudinal study. But how does NVivo support qualitative analysis? We often say NVivo is methodologically agnostic because it supports a wide range of approaches to analysing data. So you can do a grounded theory study, a narrative analysis, or thematic analysis. And the reason why the software can support these different approaches to analysing qualitative data is because it supports the basic elements of any approach to analysing qualitative data. So it has tools to organise your data, which we call files. It has tools to organise your thoughts about your data, which we will represent in your codes. And it has tools to support reflecting about your data in memos. It has tools to dig deeper into your data, to explore it, and to look for patterns in it. It also has some lexical and coding queries that you can do, as well as visualizations. It also has the tools to help you put it all together in NVivo in a series of memos you can export out of NVivo. So I want to go through the NVivo for Windows workspace. What you see in this slide is a project open in NVivo. At the top, you have the ribbon. Some ribbons are static and always visible. Some are dynamic and appear when relevant. All action items are listed on the ribbons, and nearly all of these can be accessed by right-clicking. And then you have the navigation view down the left-hand side. The navigation view contains all the different elements you have in the NVivo project. You would click in navigation view to access the different part of NVivo you want to work in. And then you would see in the list view the different items that are in that part of NVivo. And then if you want to see a particular item or items which are in list view, you double click on the item and it opens in the detailed view on the right. And you can see that I have several items open at once in the detailed view. They are open in separate tabs and you can move from tab to see them. So you can see from the screenshot that the folder for interviews has been selected. Therefore, in list view, you see displayed a list of interviews that are in that folder. A few of them have been opened up, which you can see at the top of detailed view. We are actually looking at Barbara's interview in the detailed view, but you can also see that the interviews with Richard and Patricia and with Robert have also been opened, and you would just click on them if you wanted to view them. So that is the NVivo for Windows workspace. Now I'm going to switch to NVivo and go through the navigation view in more detail. There is some special vocabulary to learn. So, data refer to your research materials. That includes your materials, whether they are textual data, video, audio, or other files. They would all be imported into the Files area. If we move to the Codes area, you'll see we have a folder for nodes. Basically, a node is a container that holds thematic coding, but if you want to think of nodes as codes when starting out, do so. Cases represent your units of observation. These can be people, organizations, places, whatever is relevant to your research design. Each type of case can have a classification assigned to it. Classifications contain the variables in your study. NVivo's term for variables is attributes, so that would be the characteristics of your cases, such as demographic information about your respondents, perhaps their age, their gender, their job, or their educational level, what is ever relevant to your particular project. Notes is an area in which you can capture your thinking and ideas about both your research process and your analysis. Your memos, your ideas about your data, and your research journal would be stored in the Notes area. Search is an area where you can store any queries that you construct. For example, if you create a query to retrieve all mentions of a particular word, or everything coded at theme A and theme B, you can save that as a search expression and it will be stored in the query area. You can also store the results of any query in that area as well. In the search area, you can also group items in various ways. For example, you can group different project items in a set. If you're doing a study where you're comparing two organizations and you have to write a report about one of those organizations, so you would create a set for that organization. This might include the interview transcripts, any memos just about that particular organization, any nodes or codes that were specific to that organization, and the results of any queries you saved that were just about that organization. So in that set, you would be able to see all the material you have about that organization, and you can start writing up about it. Maps is an area where you can create and store maps. For instance, if you create a mind map to explore new ideas early on, you can save it in here and review and refine later. Output is an area that you can generate various summary reports on basic information about your project. You can now move on to Activity 2 and explore the sample project that comes with NVivo.